good job.
Yeah, he's a quality player, very versatile. We've seen him, like say, in the centre and the wing, and when he has dropped back to full back in games before today, he's looked assured. You know, that's his original place. That's where he was born, if you will, as a rugby league player. And I'm sure he'll do nothing but good this afternoon.
Andy Bullman returns to the team after missing out last game against Bradford. 8 tries in all for him this season, 4 in the Championship. He's partnered up alongside Shane Toll, who arguably had his best game of the season, if not longer, last Friday against Bradford. I know you weren't there to see it, Graham, but listening in and seeing the clips and things like that,
yeah,
do you agree what you're seeing there?
Yeah, well, like you say, what's really mounting in this team now is pressure for places. You know, so players have got to be on the metal, and they've got to be on it every week to get a game.
Curtis Tier on the other side partners up alongside T. Ritton, 2 tries for him since he returned to the colours of Barrow Raiders. Alex Bishop, who's been a revelation since starting this season at standoff, he once again partners up alongside Ryan Johnston. Tom Walker, Josh Wood with a shattered thumb somehow still starts the game alongside Ryan Brown, the other prop forward this afternoon. In the second rows, Ellis Robson alongside Jared Stack, with Ryan King starting as loose forward. Interchanges, it's Aaron Smith, Jamie Pye, Charlie Emsley, and a return to the team for Brad Walker, who went off with suspected broken ribs just a few weeks ago. Nice to see Brad back in the team. Another player, Graham, that's done really well, and I think he could make a massive impact coming off the bench as well, because he loves playing at loose forward, he loves playing in the half backs. You don't really know where he can slot in, but wherever he's going, he's doing a good job, and he's probably the size of the prop forward as well.
Yeah, well, he's like you say, he loves playing out the back, and the thing is, he can look at the game and he can read the game. And the last game against Oldham, he was bringing players on the ball, and his fluidity, what he was doing with the ball, allowed them to flow, and they were devastating some of the attacks they put on. Hopefully, you know, more of the same today.
As for the York team, then, for those listening in, if you are tuning into BBC Radio Cumbria live via the BBC Sport app and website today, of course, Joe Brown starts at fullback with Ben Jones-Bishop alongside Kieran Buchanan. Ollie Field, who scored in his last 3 against Barrow Raiders, is on the other side, partnered up alongside Joe Law, try scorer in their first victory of the season last week against Batley. Liam Harris and Paul McShane stand off in scrum half with Jack Martin, Sam Cook, Harvey Reynolds, Jesse D, Connor Bailey, and the vastly experienced Jordan Thompson, who always seems to come up trumps, especially in the games against the Raiders. Taylor Pemberton, Jack Teamby, Brandon Santi, and Jude, I'm going to go Ferreira. It almost sounds like Ferrari, spelt like Ferrari. What are you going to go for that one, Graham?
Ferreira.
Ferreira?
Yeah, because I think there's some letters in there that are silent.
Okay.
Or they were the way I pronounced it.
We'll go Big Jude. Big Jude Ferreira. So that's your 2 lineups this afternoon then. As for the form guide, Graham, I mean, a game like this, Barrow historically struggle. 2 of the last 10 against York, they've come up trumps. There was that narrow 15 points to 14 victory last April. Apart from that, you've got to go back to the 2022 season, where they beat them away from home. Remember, back in our very, very early days, you almost caused a riot.
Yeah, I remember it well.
I think it was a
56-0.
56-0 that day. So we don't usually do that well against York, but this York team haven't started as much as they would, as well as they would like. The fixtures haven't fallen kindly to them though. That heavy defeat in the opening game of the season for them against Oldham, who were tipped to go on, possibly finishing the top 2 this year. Then it was a narrow defeat to Toulouse. Then it was Halifax, who are currently top of the table, and that first victory came last week against Batley by 23 points to 10. So I think for those on the outside looking at the table, you'll see York next to bottom, Barrow 2 points off top. You just think it was a no-brainer. Don't work like that in the Championship, does it?
I'll tell you what, anybody who looks at the table and thinks that's what's going to be today because of where they are, they're wrong, very wrong. I said, because Paul Query and his players, they will have trained just the same as they did last week, just the same as they did the week before, and the players' confidence is starting to blossom week on week, and hopefully what they'll do today is they'll contain and hold York, and also throw some at, which is what they've done in the last 2 games. And like you say, I've heard Paul's interview through the week, you know, and he's looking for consistency, he's looking for this attitude again, the defence, he's impressed with the defence. He'd like some of the others to share it out. 2 or 3 of the big men in the middle, they got 40 plus tackles, you know, Jared Stack and Tom, big Tom Wilkinson. So, you know, lots of praise for the whole team, but it's a week in, week out. You know, and that's what it's about today. And I think we'll do them today.
Yeah.
I think they've got the winner in yet.
Go on then, I'll get the pen out, Graham.
Yeah, I'm going to say something like it won't be a massacre or a runaway either way. I don't think. I think it'll be something like 22-14 to Barrow.
22-14. We've got Harley sat alongside me. 26-20 was it? Your guess the score this morning. Yeah. So Harley's gone 26-20. Graham's gone 22-14. For those listening in, drop me a message. Let's see if we can get your score lines in before kick-off. We are 5 minutes away from the opening round 5 fixture here this afternoon, with Barrow Raiders 80 minutes away from going potentially top of the table. There is a game over Halifax are playing this afternoon. I'll have to pull up these fixtures. I did have them in front of me. I'm so unorganised at times, I will tell you. But what I will say though, the last time the Raiders won 3 in a row in the league was almost 4 years ago, the 2022 season. And we all know about that beautiful season. Finished 4th that year. We got to the playoffs. Can we see another playoff season, Graham? I mean, I know it's very, very early doors, but the way they started the season.
See lots of things. Good and bad. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to make any predictions on that because knowing my look over the doom and gloom. And the thing is, you look at York as an example. He started slow last year. He ended up way up there and did very well in the playoffs. So we cannot be underestimated. We've got quality players, we've got a quality coach, you know, and it's a setup that's looking to move up through the ranks, you know, into the Super League someday maybe. So it's going to be a tough task, and let's just hope we can be screaming and shouting and enjoying it the way we were against Oldham at the end of the game.
Well, unless you're in South Leeds, there is no such thing as an easy fixture in the Championship, and this one is one of them. Once again, it's 3rd against 12th, but that means nothing. Round 5, and it's all to play for. York looking to get back in form, following from 3 opening defeats in the first 3 rounds. Raiders looking to make it 3 in a row in the league for the first time since 2022. Opportunity for them to go back at the top of the table. All eyes will be on Halifax though. Halifax are at home this afternoon to Batley Bulldogs, another team who you just can never write off. You never know what Batley side are going to turn up. Sheffield are also at home this afternoon. They're up against the mighty Oldham. Featherstone are at home to Bradford, and of course here it's Barrow against York Knights. A couple of games in the Super League as well. We'll keep an eye on them this afternoon. Huddersfield taking on top of the table OKR, and it's Wigan against the struggling Salford. There was a few games as well, I think, earlier on. Yeah, full-time score over on the south coast. Cornwall 6, Whitehaven struggled 78. That's a result over in League One. There's a few 3 o'clock kickoffs there as well.
Way to go for a pasty.
I actually had a Cornish pasty from Barrow this afternoon. Probably anything like what they are like in Cornwall. Dewsbury will play Keighley. It's Newcastle versus Midlands, Swinton versus Goole Vikings, and Workington take on Crusaders. They're all your fixtures, all kicking off at 3 o'clock this afternoon as well. 2 minutes to go here though at Craven Park. For those who are just tuning in, we will go through the lineups once again. Gareth's got his score prediction in. He's gone for 26 points to 14 in favour of the Raiders, of course. I think everyone's going to message him with their hearts rather than their heads today, but I'll say that every week. I think even the most avid fan could write off the Raiders against teams like Oldham and Bradford. Yeah, who's laughing now? Barrow Raiders then, starting at fullback this afternoon, will be Luke Broadbent due to the absence, injured Luke Cresswell. Andy Bullman returns, partnered alongside Shane Toll. Curtis Tier and T. Ritson are on the other side. Alex Bishop will be alongside Ryan Johnston, with Tom Walker, Josh Wood and Ryan Brown. Ellis Robson, Jared Stack at second row, and Ryan King as the loose forward. Aaron Smith, Brad Walker returns to the team. Jamie Pye and Charlie Emsley. James Greenwood today will be the 18th man Joe Brown, Ben Jones-Bishop, Kieran Buchanan, Ollie Field and Joe Law. They will start for the York Knights. Paul McShane, Liam Harris, Jack Martin, Sam Cook, Harvey Reynolds, Jesse D, Connor Bailey and Jordan Thompson. Taylor Pemberton, Jack Teamby, Brendan Santee, one of my personal favourite players from the set. I first watched him over at Keighley about 4 years ago. Italian international, fantastic forward. And Big Jude Ferrero Rocher, whichever you want to call him, that makes up the York lineup this afternoon. I do apologise, but it's a very weird spelling. I don't know if they did it wrong in the team sheets. It's got like 7 R's in it. Ferraria. I'm going to be outpronounced by Graham Miller this afternoon. A shout out as well to those listening all across the world, including a bunch of listeners in Morocco this afternoon. Graham, yeah, you have to sort the data out this set, making sure they can tune in, but yeah, live listening on the app via Morocco. Just waiting for the players to come out onto the field now. A minute to go until kick-off here. Graham Dale's predictions, 22 points to 14 in favour of the Raiders. Harley sat alongside me, he says 26-20 to the Raiders. Gareth texted in this afternoon, 26-14 to the Raiders. It seems like Raiders are the favourites in everyone's eyes this afternoon. Well, if they can pick up a victory here and Halifax failed to win at home this afternoon, the Raiders will go back top of the league. Liam Harris leads out his York Knights team then. It appears that the coin toss was done in the tunnel and York will play this first half massively wind assisted, because that's a strong, it's beyond the breeze right now, isn't it? And it's going right across the pitch and it's going to be playing in favour of the York team, and it does change tactically how the game of rugby league can be played. Jared Stack leads out his Raiders troops then to the Raiders roar here at Craven Park, the Northern Composition Stadium. I think they've turned the speakers up that loud, Graham, behind us. They've just peaked him and they've all cut off. It's quite enjoying the piece, I won't lie.
Yeah, they're up against the team that's big, two of the big front runners, today, if we win today, so, it's a good springboard for themselves.
Mascots then from Ruse Pioneers this afternoon. They are the flag bearers coming onto the field with their Barrow Raiders heroes. As the Raiders now get set up into position, can they make it 4 out of 5? In their best start to a championship campaign since 2022. A victory here this afternoon will be the first time in 3 in a row since that season.
Mind games there now. The York players were all out, set up, ready for a kick-off, whereas the Raiders, they've gone out and they've lined up, ready for the formal, I don't know if there's going to be silence or something booked, but they've gone out there and thought, well, let's just get on with the game.
York Knights not here to mess around then. Well, forget the flowers. This is how you treat your mum on Mother's Day. 80 minutes of full-blooded rugby league underway here. And it's going to be Barrow getting that ball first. First attack brought down 15 metres in front of their own line. And we'll get an early opportunity to see them go through the paces here. Jared Stack taking a good run there. Almost 10 metres gained, 5 of them with York players all over his back. Raiders looking to switch that ball quickly over to that far side where Curtis Tier just cuts back onto the inside. He had T. Ritson in acres of space alongside him, but couldn't get the ball away. And how much would this Barrow Raiders faithful this afternoon, Graham, love to see T. Ritson break away from 80, 90 metres downfield.
A bit of space, let's just see what he's got in the tank.
Once again, the Raiders take that ball into the middle with the big Cumbrian juggernaut that is Tom Walker. He's brought down just shy of the halfway mark. It's 5th and last now. Josh Wood gets that ball out to Johnston, who had an incredible performance last week against Bradford, but his first kick of the game hasn't been the best. It's gone straight down the throat of Joe Law that time. Not Joe Law, sorry, Ben Jones-Bishop it was on this side. And now you're getting an opportunity. I think he's wanted that ball to go over his head, but I think that's also, Graham, that just shows how windy these conditions are. I think it's thrown Ryan's kickoff there. So York now playing this through the hands calmly as Connor Bailey is brought down. Just under 30 to go now, going down the short side, putting back on the inside and then back to the outside, looking for the offload was Harris. The ball's bobbled away and picked up by Joe Brown, and the referee has waved 6 again. So the York Knights now, with just 2 minutes on the clock, find themselves 12 metres away. Once again going down this right edge, bobbling the ball around. I was told earlier on as well, a few weeks ago against Oldham in a very similar position here, over 40 attempts Oldham team had against the Barrow line, failing to get over. How many attempts will it take York here? This is their first crack at the whip. 2 minutes on the board, find themselves just a few metres away. Plenty of options. They're going down this right side once more. Fast hands, trying to get that ball out to the edge. But another fantastic tackle by Curtis Tier. Quick clear the ball from the Knights, taking this ball once again, trying to stretch towards the line. That time was Connor Bailey. Can't quite find the line though. So sweeping this ball out towards the left-hand side. Jordan Thompson steps and cuts back in towards the post. Referee hand in the air, 5th and last. Opting to throw that ball out now rather than kick. Trying to play the way through, almost breaking through the Raiders' defence, but as we've seen in 2 games in a row, that goal line defence holds up strong once more. Raiders get the ball back, a metre in front of their own line.
Great defensive set there by the Raiders. Be interesting to see what Palmer shape is next time. He just shaped a little rubber through there, which would have put them under pressure, the Raiders. But he went for the pass, you watch him and it goes on the ground next time.
So Raiders now then, after that strong defensive start, like we've seen for the last few weeks, get possession back. 3 minutes on the board, still remain scoreless here. It's Raiders 0, York Knights 0. Barrow looking for just their 3rd victory against this York team in many a year. As Ryan Johnson now finds a short offload to Robson. Robson still strong in the run now, up towards the halfway almost. It is last tackle out towards Johnson again. This time he's opted for the grubber kick. It's bobbing along. He's done well, much better that time. He's quickly adjusted his kicking game against these windy conditions. Maybe he was just testing it first time around, but opted for the grubber this time.
Yeah, that was a great kick, that, because he's got it off the island and it's going to restart the game, and York are going to be running at a set defence instead of a broken defence. If you look across this York side, very big, powerful looking, quick back line they've got. So you need to be set to take them, as well as being ready to tackle them when they're running a broken defence.
Always looking for that quick ruck speed here are York Knights, and it's working for them at the moment. The Raiders just need to stay on top of that one and make sure they turn them onto the back. We've seen it come back and bite them. The ball was juggled around there by Jack Martin. Try scoring that victory against Batley last week for them, and their first championship win of the season. And now they're opting to go big numbers down that left side, trying to find any way through. Can't quite find the gap at the moment. 5 minutes on the clock, still scoreless here. And it's York hoofing that one up high towards the blue skies here in South Cumbria, taken extremely well by Luke Broadbent. Not a bad replacement though, is it, when you got your star fullback Luke Cresswell out with injury, and Luke Broadbent slots perfectly into that position. Sure has indeed. Raiders now then going down the short side themselves with Jared Stack. Still showing this York defence, showing how strong they are. Raiders once again struggling to get inside the half as the ball's bobbled over the top by Alex Bishop. It's found touch on the York 30. I don't think it was the kick he intended to do, just came off the right side of his boot. Bobbled around, eventually found touch 30 metres out. Opening 10 minutes of this round 5 fixture here. Still remains scoreless. You're listening live on BBC Sport via the app and the website this afternoon. And we'll do our best as well to keep you updated on all the other games today in Rugby League. Plenty of free kickoffs this afternoon, including a couple of Super League games where Hull KR continue their fantastic start. Only Huddersfield 0, Hull KR 6. No other scores as of yet, as we see it from our position. Still scoreless as well here at Craven Park, the Northern Competitions Stadium, as it's York now, who find themselves 30 metres away from the Raiders line. Quick dummy thrown there by Liam Harris, is eventually brought down on the 20. It's now fifth and last. I expect another high bomb here. See if he can control it well, and the wind just grabs hold of that one, and again he can just gives it an extra few metres in the air, but taken well on that far side as Bishop's screaming to get up and play on with this one. Raiders now then on the 10. Taking that ball in with the fullback Luke Broadbent.
Like I say, these two teams are just testing each other out here, Dan. They're both defending well, they're both carrying the ball well. It's just making sure now you're not the first team to make that mistake on error. Give the other team the chance to
Ryan Johnston taken late there, and the York player knew he did it as well. The referee's eventually seen it, so the Raiders are going to get the penalty where the ball was caught. Johnston taken out late. To be fair, I think the York, Sam Cook it was, the hooker, almost sold himself by apologising for the late strike. The referee seen it late as well, but the penalty has been awarded to the Raiders. Unintentional, I believe, from Sam Cook. It's one of them things. It's rugby league, right? You're going to commit to the tackle every single time.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. When the kickers kicked the ball and it was 60-40, just in the Raiders' favour, and they kicked the ball, it was gone, and followed through with the action. It's just about protecting attacks to players off the ball.
Ellis Robson now then for the Raiders. 10 minutes played, and this is the best chance Barrow have had so far. It's the first time they've been in possession inside the York half of the field. Josh Wood looks both ways, gives that ball out towards Ryan Brown, who's brought down 15 out from the sticks. Can Raiders take the lead here? First opportunity is Josh Wood attacks the line, gets a late ball out to Ryan King, who shrugs off a couple of York defenders, eventually brought down inside the 10 metres. Once again, opting to go towards that line is Wood. Try scorer last week against Bradford. Raiders now then edging ever so close to the line, and that time they've gone over the referee, so he's held up over the line. The Raiders were cheering. They believe that Javis Stacker is furious with that decision. He's now speaking to the referee as well. He's explained why that hasn't been awarded. He's not happy there though, is he, the captain, Graham? So it's going to be a turnover of possession, but this time York will be starting this drive off their own 10. The ball has come loose, and the referee deemed that one to be ripped out in the tackle. No complaints either from the Raiders defence.
Now then, down that strike one to York. So the Knights will come down the field now, and they'll have a set of 6 to have a go at the Raiders, and they'll have good field position again.
Long punt downfield, over 20 metres gained on that one, so it's going to be a tap and go off the 40. 2 balls on the pitch, so we've just got a slight delay here. Here we go then, Kieran Buchanan gets this set underway. Raiders up towards the halfway, 10 minutes, or just over 10 minutes played here, and it still remains scoreless. There has been a try over at Halifax though. Halifax take the lead against Batley. Halifax 6, Batley 0. As it stands, Halifax continuing their unbeaten start to the season under Kyle Eastman. Raiders here, defensive duties needed once again as York now find themselves within 20, going down that left-hand side. Forward pass not spotted there Everyone in the popular side seems to have noticed that one. Screams at the touch judge to let him know. As York keep bobbling this bouncer. Very, very patient, I think, this York team at the moment in attack.
Yeah, they're showing good composure. I'm just interested to see what they do at the end of this set.
Running.
I think they'll try and go for a repeat set.
So it was McShane there running at the markers. Couldn't quite get anywhere. So Liam Harris takes possession. Kicks that one through, almost took it himself, but it's fantastic support from Bishop, who's done well. I think Harris must have been moments, fingertips away from taking that ball and going over the line, but Alex Bishop's come across with some support. And now Raiders back in possession once more. 12 minutes gone, Raiders 0, York 0. Laying on for a hell of a long time there. Protests from the Raiders defence. Waved away, now with Jared Stapp, steps back on the inside, great run that time from the second rower. Takes Raiders pushing towards that 40 mark now then with Ryan King, the big Aussie, sorry, the big Italian Australian. Takes Raiders past that 40 metre mark as Wood gets that one out to Bishop, Bishop over the top, it's going to go right down the throat once again. That time of Joe Law. Joe Law's taken that off his 20. Just past the 30 mark now, then it's a loose play of the ball there. They've just got away with it and almost bursting through the line. That time was Ollie Field looking to make it 4 in the last 4 against the Raiders. And just like that, York quickly find themselves in this Raiders half. York have definitely been the most dominant team in this opening 13 minutes of this fixture here. Still remain scoreless though, and just like we've seen in the last 160 minutes of rugby league, Banner Raiders defence is holding up strong so far. But now they've found some space in that defence. Taking one way, then the other way. Liam Harris has found enough space to get through and taking it to the sticks for good measure. Right in front of the travelling York fans there. It took them 13 minutes, but now they've got through. It's York 4, Raiders 0.
Barrow, they've been set for set, but York have managed to be in the final third of the field a lot more. And Raiders have done a bit more, or it seems like a bit more tackling on the line than York went. It's easier to play with the ball now.
So once again, it's Liam Harris for York Knights, back on the score sheet just like he was last week in their first victory against Batley. Stepping one way, then the other way. Two great steps, in fact. One of them caught Broadbent last second, right off guard. He just totally wrong-footed him. All the space in the world to eventually get through when there wasn't really too much on. But now they've got a simple conversion attempt. Almost a quarter of an hour played here. And with that conversion, another 2 go on the board. It's now Raiders 0. It's York Knights 6. As York are on course for back-to-back victories, albeit a long way to go. But as an opening 15 minutes goal, Graham, Barrow just been struggling really. In possession, they can't get out their own half.
Yeah, they just, like say they call it antelope cliche, they call it down and they've been in it. Right, just had a superior field position, that's been the difference between the two. Raiders have been up there, not quite managed to force an error so that they could get in a good field position, like set after set.
York now then, bringing this ball out once again, almost breaking through, but it was Robson that just clung on to the back of the knees there. Yeah, Tom Walker's shaking his head and he needs to come off. He's just indicated straight away something wrong with his right knee. The doctors and physios have said instantly, get him off. So it's going to be an early interchange here as Charlie Emsley now then ready to come onto the field as Tom Walker slowly hobbles off. Frustrated figure, hands on his head, furious. He did take a knock a few moments ago. I think he's tried to run it off, been unable to. And he can really feel that one. As now back on to the play. We'll take a look over. We'll see Shane Toll running sideways there. He takes another shot around the head.
Yeah, the Raiders needed that. They got a break there. High shot. Clears the goal line. Put this ball in the touch.
Looks like
sorry, Dan. Sorry, talk over you there. The other thing is the Raiders are playing into the win this first half. So, it can be half time and then something can do the win in the back.
They're taking off Ryan King now as well, and doesn't look 100%. That heavy strapping on his right thigh. So now Brad Walker goes on into that loosed forward position. He played there against that fantastic victory against Oldham. So Ryan King gingerly walking down the sidelines, and Tom Walker also going off. Not a positive start for the Raiders, trailing this game by 6 points to 0, and now they've lost Ryan King and Tom Walker. Brad Walker then, who is onto the field, finds a great ball and almost breaking through. That time was Brown, as now Walker takes that ball up, tries to get his arm free and find an offload away. Raiders still 40 away on the last tackle. Bishop puts that one up high into the air, battling against the wind. It's swirling all over the place, but taken well by Joe Brown, who's taken that ball in, eventually tackled almost on his own 30. As Raiders reshape, and we'll just take a look at the lineup as it is, Graham. I just imagine it's a like for like, is it? Brad Walker's going to fit into loose forward, and Charlie Ems is straight in the middle.
Yeah, it is, but they've lost 2 players now that are not going to be sat on the bench. So they're big important players for the Raiders.
Yeah, we take a look down at the interchange box just to our left-hand side, and both of them players are currently in the doctors' and physio's room, getting their treatment. Tom Walker doesn't look so good. Ryan King just hobbling. We imagine he should hopefully come back onto the field, but we'll keep you updated on that one as and when we can. Almost 20 minutes played here, and it's York going over the top. The sun staring down the face of Luke Broadbent, who's taken the tackle there. That was flopping, surely. Late in the challenge there was Harvey Reynolds. T. Ripton then takes the ball as he drives into the knees of the York defence. Still inside their own 10, struggling to get away here as Shane Toll now has a go. 3 tackles in, Raiders still on their own 10-metre mark, trailing this one by 6 points to 0. Going down the short side with Curtis Tier, up the jumper stuff from him. Quick play the ball as Raiders now throw this ball out all the way out towards Bullman on that far right hand side. Can he find his space? He can find space. He gets an offload away as he was just being tackled there. The ball bobbled around. Surely that's going to be a knock on against the Raiders. Raiders players claiming it was ripped out. Let's see which way the referee indicates that one's going to go.
Right call, Charlie. Come on, bring it out, boys. Come on.
It is going to be a scrum down, head and feed to the Raiders. Yeah, Bullman just broke away down that right-hand side there. Did his little step and a shuffle. He was wrapped round the legs though. He's just thrown the ball almost into no man's land, hoping he had a player there in support. As Aaron Smith looks to come onto the field now.
Just prior to that though, Dan, what we did see was the Raiders are struggling a little bit to make the leaders up the middle of the field.
Broadbent's looking to get into touch here. The ball has come out of his hands in the tackle. The referee takes a look at his touch judge, and I think Broadbent he's arguing with the touch judge, and he was trying to get the ball away. Ryan Johnson's now going over as well. They're not too happy. It was, yeah, credit where it's due, down at York defence. Broadbent was looking to get that ball away to Ritson, couldn't get the right pass, took the tackle himself and was dragged 5, 6, 7 metres before being held into touch. Tried his best to stay in. The York defenders were just too much for the Raiders fullback. That's a knock on that time though. So they've got an opportunity once again. It's almost as you were for the Raiders. Just inside the York half, it's going to be another scrum down, head and feed to Barrow. Ryan King back out of the physio's room, running up and down the touchline now. He's took that strapping off and he's got something else wrapped round that leg. Maybe the strapping was a little bit too tight, but he's got some sort of support now. Looks to be walking much better. So I imagine Ryan King will be back onto the field at some point this afternoon, as Aaron Smith's still waiting to come on. I imagine for Josh Wood, who's playing with that strapped up thumb. As Raiders now looking to bring themselves back into this game. 30 metres out towards Walker, out the back to Bishop. Bishop's juggled that ball low, lost it. York pick up the loose pass. And now with 19 minutes to go until half time, York back in possession, 60 away. Massive shot that time from Charlie Emsley with Curtis Tier in support.
The Raiders are just tending to go up and stop and wait. It's just allowing York sometimes to just run over the top of the defenders.
They're finding the small space. There's Jordan Thompson finds a space that time, and then Brandon Santee was moments away from doubling York's lead, and the ball has slipped through his fingertips, practically on the Raiders' line. That's the sort of luck that a team needs if they're going to win a game like this. Yeah, fresh onto the field, Brendan Santee, and that was fingertips away from going 10-0 to York. But once again, there was 3 players there that missed that tackle, allowing Thompson to just break through. Very
He's running at space as well,
Josh.
He's just getting that head through, that initial collision, and that's what we have in the last 2 games. That's what's not happened. We've hit and we've stuck 2 or 3 players, and we've knocked them down and knocked the ball loose majority of the time.
Penalty awarded once again to the Raiders. So Johnston does his best to punt that one downfield, but these strong winds keeping it held back. So Charlie Emsley now then. He has a go at this York line. Just shy of the 40 as Aaron Smith gets that one out to Brown. Brown cuts back inside. Almost up towards the halfway mark now. Good opportunity for the Raiders if they can get through this set. Charlie Emsley juggling that one, just manages to keep hold of possession, does the Scottish international. There's now Smith, who's fresh onto the field, gets this one alive as it's going to be Bishop. Bishop gets that ball away. Raiders keep moving down that right side with Jared Stack, who's held on his feet. So ball comes back into the middle then. Walker looking at his options. And the ball has come loose. It's gone backwards and it's been knocked on. And the Raiders really struggling here. When they're in possession, it's these little errors and little mistakes that are going to cost them dearly. So it's going to be a scrum down, head and feed to the York Knights, just off their own 20-metre mark. But
again, it's just the mistakes down this. You know, that York now have had the line. They're not even down to defend the line. They're 30 metres off their line now with ball in hand again. So we're just making it easy for them at the moment now. Although it's still a tight game.
yeah, still just 6 points the difference here. Raiders 0, York 6. This tough battle so far in the opening 24 minutes here. Championship round 5. Already lost Tom Walker, who is back onto the interchange bench now, just in front of our position, sat alongside Josh Wood. As York just driving that ball right down the middle. They just need to make the most of these opportunities, the Raiders, because this York team so far of making some big meters when in possession. Santee plays that ball. York going down this right side. Big tackle that time from Robson and Tier. I don't think Robson's missed many tackles this season. Brought him for his try scoring abilities at Keighley, but it's his defensive efforts have been unbelievable so far for the Raiders. Quick play the ball now then. Thompson once again. That time he's tackled strongly by Charlie Emsley, and Walker in support. Once York opted to go down the short side, cutting back in towards the middle. Once again weaving the way through the Raiders defence, but just tackled a metre shy of the line. A quick play the ball to Brandon Santee, who that time takes possession, gets over the line, but he's held up.
Living on the edge of the Raiders at the moment. The two teams, York, a little bit stronger, more likely to that's the benefit they've had of the mistakes the Raiders have put on the plate for them, and they've ended up at the right end of the field. The Raiders are just struggling to get away from the long line as well.
14 minutes to go until half time then. Still just that one score. The difference as T. Ritson takes that famous step, drop of the shoulder, almost breaks through. Raiders fans on that popular side scream for the high tackle, not given. So Raiders still off their own 30 mark. Out towards Jared Stack as Ritson comes back over. See if this ball as Broadbent's found some space. Broadbent's away. Broadbent's got support. He's got Johnson on one side. Johnson takes the ball. Johnson steps. Johnston! Incredible try for the Raiders. That's how you bring yourself back into the game. And just like that, it's Raiders 4, York 6.
The back showed the way there. All the field, 30 metres out. Made good yards.
One away for a try, stop by number 7. Ryan Johnson!
Striding up the field.
Sponsored by the Bolton Mafia.
So cool. And he looks left, he looks right. Ryan Johnson on his inside, put the step on the fullback and managed to get between the sticks.
Yeah, credit to Luke Broadbent there. Incredible. He just wiggled his way in the middle, found that space. He did to the York team what the York team can do to that to the Barrow defence. He's found a way through. He had great support. Usually the support comes from Cresswell. He's not in the team this afternoon.
We'll take a lot of art that. We've had to do a lot of defending the Raiders this first half. And they've been gassed, and you can just see that, just that little sort of run over the top of a player a little bit to get the space, and then create an opening score. But to get a score, still 10 minutes of this half to go, so it's not close to half time. But it's right back in the game, and that'll give them some momentum.
Simple conversion then from Brad Walker, and it's as you were. 12 minutes to go until half time. It's Raiders 6, it's York 6. Raiders, who have only won 2 of the last 10 against this York team, are looking to change that record. Featherstone 6, Bradford 6, Halifax running away with it once again. 18 points to 0 up against Batley Bulldogs, and it's Sheffield 6, Oldham 0. High kick, bobbled around by Broadbent. It's gone backwards. He's just slipped as well, trying to find a line, and now it's going to be forced to take a drop out. Just that one tiny error. If it was an error, the sun is streaming down into his eyes here. It might be windy, but I don't think there's a cloud in the sky. Tricky conditions to be a fullback this afternoon, especially in this first half for the Raiders. Wind against them, but the ball bobbled backward. He did everything he could to get in front of that try line, couldn't quite do it, so it's going to be a drop out against the wind. They've done well to make it reach the 40-metre mark. And now York take that first tackle 30 metres out.
So don't pump again down. This has been the story of the half for the Raiders.
We've seen it for the last few weeks where the just resilient defending they've had to do within their own 20 metres. But they've done it. They've done it against Oldham, they've done it against Bradford last Friday night, and they'll need to do it again this afternoon against York.
Dangerous, and Jordan Thompson is such a big player. He's got good pair of hands as well. So you can't set yourself as a half. You've got to throw everything.
Big defence on that far side there from the Raiders. Bishop involved once more. Little kick comes through. That's a fantastic try. Liam Harris just read that one like a book. He's found a way through. Arguably offside. Screams of offside from this stand here. It's always going to scream of offside.
Well, that was class.
I think it was too.
He was practicing then in the warm-up where he was just tiptoeing side to side at the 10-metre line and then just dribbling it over the line.
Perfection then, says Graham Dale.
Sometimes you just go like, what's happening?
It was a good try. Harris just seen the space. I think he knew what run and what line he had to take before McShane kicked that ball.
They're not if they're practice, that's a 6 8 to a 7. You know, work on it week in, week out. That's a 6, knowing a 7, and saying, I'll put it in that area and I'll make sure I get there.
And that's exactly what's happened.
In fact, I don't know why a lot more teams don't do it a lot more often, because they're creating havoc. Yeah, they get
York House scores number 7, Liam Harris.
You are a big fan of that short ball, aren't you? That ball on the floor.
I used to love it when I was playing. I had a really good 6, and he just knew the last thing I'd do if it was getting late in the set of 6, I'd just drop it onto my foot, and it just used to run at the try line, and they either kicked it out, or we got it back, or we scored a try. Not only that, the outside backs knew as well. The plan move is
Successful conversion there from Harris. It's Raiders 6, it's York 12, it's Liam Harris 12. He's ran the show this afternoon for this York Knights team.
he's looked a good player, hasn't he? Very composed when he's got the ball in hand. Jordan Thompson's impression as well.
I don't think I've seen Thompson ever have a bad game when I've been doing these commentary for this fixture. Massive player is Jordan Thompson, vastly experienced, plenty of Super League games under his belt as well. As York once again very quick in the ruck this afternoon, find themselves already up towards the 40-metre mark as Walker squares up now, offload away. Surely he had his back to the referee as he caught that ball there, did Joe Brown. Play continues. That's just not one you see every day. But York now find themselves trying to get that ball away. 40 metres out from the Raiders line. Going down the short side, ready for this kick. Goes high in towards this blue Mother's Day skies. That time taken well by Broadbent. He's had a lot of work to do this afternoon as Broadbent. Can't wait to see how he gets on in the second half with Raiders having this wind behind them. I'm sure Giant Ryan Johnston would love a couple of 40-20 attempts as well, and might be forced to have to at least try a few of them. Quick hands here from the Raiders, comes all the way out to Curtis Tier. And you can see as well, if you take a look at the back line at York, when the ball's coming towards this side, they're almost putting 2, almost 3 men in position, ready for T. Ritson finding some space. They know the sort of speed that he's got, Ritson. I'm sure he'd just love one line break, bring the Raiders once again back into this one. Let's kick over the top, bobbling around nicely. The wind's calmed down, and once again they found a little bit of space. That time the ball has been knocked on. Great defence from the Raiders. T. Ritson as well involved that time.
Just juggled it as he went in, didn't he? Unfortunately for the big Wakefield Loney.
So scrum down, head and feed then on the 40-metre mark to the Raiders. 6 minutes to go until half time.
This is what the Raiders have not had so far. A very rare mistake by York in this first half. And now they've got the chance to have a good ball possession. Let's see what they can do with it.
In terms of momentum, Graham, obviously a man of your vast experience, how much difference does it make to a dressing room when you score a try moments before the half-time hooter?
Well, it depends what it is. If you're 40-0 down and it's 40 points to 6, not really much. But if it's a game like this,
I don't understand how that has not gone back to 1. So his referee has made a lot of hand signals there. It should be a Raiders. So Ryan Johnston's took possession. He's going to indicate scrum down, head and feed to the Raiders. I was waiting for the back to 1 call from the referee, which wasn't called, but nevertheless Raiders have got possession back. It was bobbling all over the place that time. York looked a little bit confused themselves. So it's going to be a scrum then. Sorry, Graham, back to you.
So yeah, if it's a game like this where the Raiders have had to so much pressure and then they've got a try and got into the game, it's like if they score again now and level it up, they'll be bouncing. They'll be really, really happy.
Raiders inside the 20 then. A few minutes to go until half time. Ball popped off to Charlie Emsley. Still 15 metres away from that York line. Whoa, it's a massive shot. Massive shot. The ball come loose and York have got possession back and York are away. York are away down that far left side. The Raiders defenders are retreating to try and complete that tackle. Holding on as long as they possibly can. That time was Luke Broadbent. As they've still got defenders way out of position here. They need to get back quickly because York have broken inside that Raiders half and now find themselves 40 metres away. And they've got some numbers on this right edge as well, trying to break. That time was Joe Brown. Ryan Johnston was high up on the collar there. Tackle was eventually made. He's trying to get up, claiming that Joe Brown is grabbing in. He goes face to face with Johnston. And they're still going at each other here. Shot to the head claimed by Ryan Johnston. Not looked at by the touch judge. It all seems to be going on here. As York now then going down this left edge. Again, they've got a 3-on-3 situation. Can they find that space through? Raiders complete the tackle just a few metres away from the line. 3 to go until half time. York looking for their third try of the afternoon here. Currently leading this one by 12 points to 6. Tackled fifth and last now. 10 metres out once again going down that left side. Getting that ball across. That's a fantastic pass. But it's deemed forward by the referee to the ironic cheers from the popular side. And Paul McShane is causing havoc now.
They don't know as a defensive line, they don't know whether to stick or push, you know what I mean, because he's such a clever player. They backed off there because they were expecting the rubber kick. And the play before that, he went for the pass and they sloughed it out. So now they just caught in 2 lines there, the Raiders.
It was Jesse D that took that great ball from McShane. It was through, the referee deemed the pass to be forward. It just shows how dangerous this York team have been. And all we can do as a commentator is to compare them to what we've seen over the last few weeks. And I think inside that final 20, York have looked much better than what we've seen out of Oldham and Bradford.
They've had nearly twice more possession in that area of the field right now. So what the Raiders want to do, get to half time. Raiders will be praying for half time now, so that they can get in, have a chat, sort out, get a plan for the second half. And like I said, they've got the benefit of the second half. They just need to cut out the errors. You know, that ball which Jared Stack before was so telegraphed. I think my man sat in a wheelchair.
Ball has come loose again, knocked on by the Raiders, 30 metres out from that York line. Frustration keep creeping in here as Raiders are just trying to find a way through. I don't think Paul Carrera will be too happy. A few choice words, but albeit just 6 points the difference. And if you're not at your best and you're only 6 points down, it could be a lot worse. Causing a handful. Jimmy Pike looking in for the big shot and just misses out there as tackle was completed. York 40 away. Once again, Harris keeping all of that ball as long as he can. Eventually finds McShane. McShane weaves one way, the other way. He's still got his arm free. He still managed to get an offload. They've got a 4-on-3 opportunity now down on that left corner. Jesse D cuts the ball back inside though. He's going to be stopped on the 10. We're into the final few seconds of this first half, and York find themselves within 10 metres. Jordan Thompson on the hooter finds an offload away. York are keeping this play alive. They're going to go for the kick across field. Is taken in the air by Curtis Tier. Curtis Tier could have been away. He's opted to take the tackle. I think if he had to see Ritson next to him, we could have been talking about a different story there. Half-time hooter goes then here at Craven Park, now known as the Northern Competition Stadium, and the score at half-time reads Barrow Raiders 6, York Knights 12. Just 6 points the difference, but Raiders have been on the back foot for the majority of that first half. it's a scoreline that could have looked a whole lot different, but I think the defensive form over the last few weeks of the Raiders have carried them through this opening 40 minutes against a strong wind as well. It could be a different looking second half. And Graham Dale, what sort of words do you think are going to be spoken now as nice things you can put in the dressing room at half time?
I think
on their best form, based on what we've seen over the last few weeks at least, yet still have managed to keep this game within just 6 points. It could have been a hell of a lot worse. This York team have been probably, arguably, the best team we've seen so far against the Raiders this season, and have had a lot of competition up against them as well, in the likes of Oldham and Bradford, where Raiders came away with 2 historical victories. This should be a whole different second half though, because these massive wins, as moving from left to right as we look at it towards the Duke Street end of the ground, could make all of the difference. But the Raiders in their Dennis the Menace black and red striped kits are looking for a comeback here, and Graham Dale sat alongside me. Can you see the comeback happening?
Well, yeah, I could see it coming back out. I just think they just need to be active a bit more defensively as the game starts. So in the first 10 minutes, quarter of an hour, let's get someone set for some defence. Let's get York on the back foot, you know, and then we can try and play offensively.
So it's Raiders now then, back in possession. What short sets there, one from the Raiders, one from York. And now York have done well to put that one just 20 metres away from the run. T. Ritson has taken a shot around the neck, right in front of the referee. Not going to get away with that one. It's that step back on the inside that he famously makes every time he gets the ball that wins them sort of challenges.
Now the difference now down here, so the Raiders are 30 metres off the goal line, we've got a kick to come, and they'll start a good ball. Let's hope we can stay down that end of the field and apply some pressure and get a few points on the board.
The ball is hoofed downfield just in front of our commentary position, as the Raiders now with a big man, Jamie Pye, gives him a slice of what he's all about and gets the ball out at just by the halfway line. He's done well there as the on loan Salford man. Massive structure of a human being. Looks more like a WWE wrestler than he does a rugby player. Broadbent now then, shimmying away, trying to find any sort of space and support. 35 metres out then. Walker runs at that York line like running at a brick wall over as the black, yellow and white shirts of the Knights stop that run. Bishop finds an offload to Stack. 2 minutes played in this second half. Raiders find themselves 20 metres away from the line. As Stack gets back up to his feet, the ball is played out towards his left-hand side now, where the Raiders are creating some big numbers, some fast hands. Curtis Tier is looking for one more pass to Ritson, couldn't quite get the ball away. Now it's last tackle. Ritson plays that ball out to Johnston. Johnston kicks it through. It goes around everybody else and the referee, but it's collected just off the line.
That's a better set there from the Raiders now. So York are now 3-4 metres off their own try.
Come on, keep it there, brother, come on.
How much distance they can get up the field, up in the middle. Raiders have really got to put on some heavy defensive pressure now and try and get to a good field position next time they get the ball back.
Raiders 6, York 12, live here on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport via the app and the website, of course. The ball has come loose there. The ball is deemed to have been knocked on. And I think was that a couple of York players getting down each other's faces there. Jesse D not happy with the decision. Brad Walker delighted. As now Raiders are going to take the scrum down, head and feed. 30 out from the York line. Almost 5 minutes played of this second half. Massive opportunity, massive moment here for the Raiders. Will we hear that infamous Banner Raiders roar from this Craven Park faithful here as Jared Stack now then bursts through. Quick play in the ball as Smith finds Bishop. Bishop gets our ball out. Raiders have found the space with Robson. Robson hands off 1, 2, 3 players eventually taken down 5 metres shy of the line. Raiders now then in a great opportunity, trying to force the way over. Just a few metres to go. Oh, it's going to be a slow play the ball here from Jamie Pye. Looks to have hurt himself in the tackle there. The ball comes out to Johnston. Johnston tries to find his way through as Pye now struggles to get back up to his feet. walks back to the line. Raiders then opting to go towards this right-hand side. It's a poor ball. That's a very poor ball. And it's been intercepted by York, and York are away. York is still going away with Joe Law, and Joe Law's eventually tackled by Broadbent. Broadbent tries to turn him on his back to slow this one down. Raiders have got players down all over the park. Jamie Pye struggling to get himself moving. Bishop is down as well in between the sticks. Almost down to 11 players here, the Raiders, as York now move inside the Raiders half, just like that. And if it's just them one mistake, them one errors, Graham, and it just gives York.
Just lost a bit of momentum there, just through, losing the plot a little bit and panicking a little bit. You just needed to slow the game down when they got to that end of the field and just played that set out.
So it seems to be 13 versus 13 again, but York is still trying to find a way through. And it's that man again, Harris. They just cannot handle him. He's gone in for a hat-trick. After 46 minutes, it's Raiders 6, it's York 16, it's Harris 16. The Raiders defence are furious with the officials here. They're not happy with something that's happened in that play there. But nevertheless, it's going to be Harris that once again goes over, causing absolute havoc this afternoon. And with 6 minutes on the clock for this second half, 34 to go until full time. It's a 2-score advantage now. It's Raiders 6, York 16.
Yeah, in the middle of the field there was just some to-ing and throwing possession-wise, and then when York picked it up, it was a broken play. There was no set defence. Just took advantage of that, and again when the halfback Liam Harris got that ball again, like you said, down fleet of foot and managed to evade the defenders, scored another try for York. How many times has that happened? You're down the one end of the field, they march straight up and score. That must be so frustrating. Coach killer that.
As this conversion attempt is to come, it's Taylor Pemberton who's onto the field taking this one, because Harris is still being treated by the physios behind the sticks, behind the Raiders players. I'm sure they would desperately like to keep him on the field, but it's another successful conversion. Another 2 on the board. It's Raiders 6, it's York 18, and this torrid run against York Knights over the last few years is on course to continue unless Raiders can find something. Can they dig deep here in these windy West Cumbrian conditions, South Cumbrian conditions, should I say?
Raiders, I get the impression now the Raiders need to score next.
Yeah, Harris is.
To keep this game alive. The best of it is they'd started the first 10 minutes of the second half really well. They were on top of the field position. Like I say, it's just not really what it is.
With his sock rolled down, Harris now eventually makes it back into position. The ball is bobbling around, and it's going to go all the way out there. It was just left by Joe Law, and now it's going to be a dropout. That's how you use these conditions to your advantage.
At the start of this second half, both teams, York really started off and they've been a little bit less assured. They've done 2 or 3 mistakes and another one now. So the Raiders have a chance to get some pressure and try and get a score on the board within 5 minutes of conceding.
So Harris is going to take this dropout. He's going to test out that right leg. He's just been treated. It's gone up high. It's bounced on a 20. It's bounced back. But there was 3 Raiders shirts there to collect it. One of them being Alex Bishop. He's called that one and wrapped up. Trying to get a quick play the ball away then as Raiders now with Broadbent. Throws a dummy. Cuts back onto the inside. 5 or 6 metres gain that time from the Raiders fullback. Just over half an hour to go here. Raiders still trailing by 18 points to 6. As York are looking for back-to-back victories after their slow start to this championship campaign. But Ellis Robson has other ways around it, and it's Robson that's got in for his 3rd of the season, and he's brought the Raiders right back into it. Never write this team off, never write them off. It's Raiders 10, it's York 18.
Called it that. York made a mistake.
Sponsored by Southwest Links NFU Neutral.
This is going to go right to the wire.
No, another Hollywood finish. Another Barrow game. No, never happens, Graham. Another heart attack in waiting.
Like I say, what the encouraging part for the Raiders so far this half is that York have made a couple of really bad mistakes on their own line, or around their own line, and it's give Raiders the field position, and they've exploited it. So they've just got to keep on top of them defensively, keep applying the pressure, and see if they can keep forcing the error. As for York, they're going to come back and they're going to hope Barrow can do the same.
So 8 points of difference then. Brad Walker with his conversion attempt to come. Slightly left of the post as we look at it. Generally would be a simple one with these windy conditions. Makes it look simple. It's another 2 on the board for the Raiders. It's Barrow 12. It's York 18. We're back to just a try in it. And we've got half an hour left. Massive half an hour coming up for the Raiders, who are looking to keep this momentum going after 2 incredible victories against Oldham and Bradford.
It's just like to see these Raiders forwards when they take the ball forward now. Just support each other a little bit, like we said against Oldham, where they just tipped it on a little bit so that these big York defenders can't get the big hits in.
So we're going for the kick deep towards the corner. Bishop's done well to put a hand on that one and keep it in play. Collected now by Bowman, who's run it back in towards the middle. With Ryan King alongside Ryan Brown on the touchline, warming up, ready to come back onto the field. Looks to be no place though for Tom Walker. I don't know if he's come back out actually. He may have got changed at half time. Can't see him in that position down to our left hand side. And now the ball has been lost. Raiders have lost the ball. York have collected possession, and just like that, York are going to go back and take a 2-score lead. Raiders have become their own worst enemies at the moment. Just 2 minutes after they brought themselves back into this game, York City Knights take the advantage once more, picking up a loose carry on that far left side. York go in, and it's going to be Ben Jones Bishop on the score sheet. Graham Dale sat alongside me, shaking your head in disbelief almost.
You're just aghast, you know, as I say, he wasn't under pressure to pass it, he wasn't under pressure, the other guy from the defender, just basic skills, just letting them down.
It's a little bit of untidy play.
Both teams are guilty of it this early in this second half, but the difference is one team has got a 10-point cushion.
Yeah, they're looking to make that 10-point into a 12-point cushion now. Then as it stands, it's Raiders 12, York 22. And no sooner has Raiders got themselves right back into this game, it's took them just 2 minutes to let York back in. Losing possession over on that far left hand side, just less than 30 metres off their own line. Ben Jones Bishop was there to pick up the loose carry. And these windy conditions here just goes to show as the ball has been blown off the kicking tee. And I think it's at moments like this, Graham, you know, with 27 minutes left to play and 2 scores needed, surely in a position like this, Ryan Johnston has to look for them 40-20 attempts now and some massive kicks at the end of the set. Successful conversion.
Well, it's just in the last 5 minutes they've made two huge errors, which have allowed York to pounce and score.
So kick off now then from the Raiders. Ryan Johnson keeps that one low, kicking it towards the touchline, but this time it's bobbled up nicely for Ollie Field to collect that ball. Bring it back in towards the middle. Tackle eventually made on that 30-metre mark. Jordan Thompson now then, and I imagine, Graham, with 26 to go and 12 points of difference, York have just got to go through the motions now then. One up rugby, go through the sets, just complete the sets. get the biggest kick possible away.
Yeah, well, they've scored enough points to win the game, haven't they? They've got to stop the Raiders scoring points as well. So they can't shut down, they'll still play rugby. Like I say, you'll look at this back line, and every one of them's a big rangy attacker. So they're gonna take energy out of this Raiders defence. This has been the biggest team I've seen here this year now. Barrow as well.
So the kick comes through from Ron McShane, then he's just bobbled that one along. The wind has carried that one into touch.
There's the experience there, man. Just get through the sets, get it off the island, get a bit of a blow, and then just set the blow again defensively. Hold them as far away from your own line as you can. It's a simple game, really.
It's the three key men for this team this afternoon. Paul McShane, Liam Harris and Jordan Thompson. They've just carried this York team all over the field and just let the youngsters on the edges with the speed, the size in the middle. And it's just a good team to look at, isn't it? And it's I mean, we look at the table again and we see they've lost their opening 3 fixtures, albeit that heavy defeat to Oldham, but to lose out to a point to Toulouse and then just by 8 points to the team currently undefeated. Here comes the first 40-20 attempt from Brad Walker. Will it stay in the field of play? No, it won't. It's going to go out on the full, off his own 20-metre mark. And he's lost the raffle that time as Brad Walker. And to be fair, I think they should have gone for a few more tackles there, the Raiders. Off his own, well, almost off his own 30 there, he still had players in that set. They could have moved up a little bit more.
24 minutes left now. You know, there's enough time to get back into this game. You know, there's no panic.
2 scores the difference there, and a rare sight here. We see Paul Crary pitch side off from his usual position. As York now with Jordan Thompson. I think Paul Crary he must see something down there. He still sees a way through. I think it's just getting a message out to his players on the pitch before it becomes a little bit too much to do with 2 little time left on the clock as York now find themselves 10 away. Shifting that ball from the right hand side back into the middles. Quick hands here from the Knights, trying to face any sort of space they can. Once again, it's McShane popping that ball off, and Jesse Dees picks up the ball. He's carried that one over the line, and now it's game time. York are on course to make it back-to-back victories in the championship. 23 minutes to go. It's going to be 3 scores the difference, and too much for the Raiders to handle this afternoon, this Knights team.
Well, they've made errors, so you know they've gifted possession. Again, now they've gone for a 40-20, it's gone out full, so York have then got the field position. Now, when you've got players like Paul McShane in your ranks, you know, he was not just watching him there. There was an air of composure, and it was like conducting an orchestra. You know what I mean? And he was telling players where to go, telling where he wanted him, and he had his man come back on a against the grain. You know, and it was just good rugby. Fortunately, the Raiders are on the receiving end.
Paul McShane, we've been screaming his name out all afternoon. Just a little pop-off ball, just sits them up, doesn't he, nicely.
I mean, the level he's played at for so many years, 10 years, I think it was, Castleford. You know, and he won, I think it was, I'm not sure if it was 1 or 2 Super League titles. He was smashed in 20, so he come out of the championship. His brain can think ahead of, you know, a bit like the old schools of football. You used to see things 10 minutes before other people. And that's what's happening here now.
100% record with the boot continues for this York team. It's now Raiders 12, it's York 30. 21 minutes left to go. The ball's bobbing around, it's shot into the air, but it's going to be just stay in the field of play this time for Joe Law, who's taken a massive shot. And this Raiders pack are not giving up just yet. They've got 21 minutes to turn this one around.
See what happens, and if they get the break, if they drop the ball, then they try and apply the pressure.
Just almost scalded me tongue live on air there, Graham, with this black coffee that's just been brought up to me.
Right.
Oh.
Where's mine?
Well, you snooze, you lose, Dale.
Hey, you emptied half my flask in there. You could at least have the, you know.
Do you like black coffee?
No.
Stop your moaning.
I'll lose the roof of my mouth.
Stoppage in play now then, as it's like Joe Law there is taking a massive shot, collecting that ball from kickoff. As the wind, the further this afternoon goes on, the colder that these windy temperatures become. It's a great day to wear shorts. Great next to me it is. A little bit of everything, looks like you're wearing the wardrobe today. Notoriously cold, isn't it, this seated stand here? Huddersfield 4, Hull KR 20, Wigan 26-0 up against Salford. Here it's Raiders 12, it's York 30. Other updates in the Championship: Featherstone 12, Bradford 34. Bradford looking to get back into winning ways after losing 3 in a row. Halifax, they are showing them how it's done. 36-0 against a good Batley Bulldogs team. That is a statement win for them, well, before full time at least. Sheffield, who were 8-0 up against Oldham, are now trailing. It's Sheffield 8, Oldham 12, and in the Betfred League One it's Dewsbury 20-0 up against Keighley. Newcastle 6, Midlands 22. It's Swinton 12, Gould 24, and Workington 14, North Wales 4. That's some results for them, you know. Full-time result as well for our Cumbrian neighbours. Finished Cornwall 6, Whitehaven 78. That's you up to date in the Championship and League One so far. 21 minutes to go here at Craven Park, the Northern Competition Stadium, and it's Barrow who are trailing heavily here against this dominant York Knight side this afternoon. Barrow 12, York 30 at the moment, and it looks to be Joe Law that's going off, holding his face there. Not looking comfortable at all. So on the last tackle now then, the York Knights off their own 30-metre mark. Kick that one 10, 20, 30, 40 metres downfield. They've done well to get that ball away. It's gone straight down the throat of Bullman, who's trying to step all over the place there, trying to find some space before he started getting into second and third gear. Shane Toll takes a big tackle as Josh Wood comes back onto the field now then for Aaron Smith. Out on this short side to Jared Stack up towards the halfway line now, just creeping inside the York half of the field. They need something spectacular here. They need to almost score on every opportunity to get at the moment, the Raiders, who find themselves just under 40 metres out from that York line. Josh Wood now out to Walker. Walker out to Johnston, who hasn't seen too much of the ball today. York have done well to get the Raiders half back quiet after arguably his best performance ever last week against Bradford while in a Raiders shirt. As that ball is kicked up high towards a corner, and again missed tackles from the Raiders, giving York another 10 metres that time. And it's very uncharacteristic defensive errors today as York of Ryan King has pulled up, and he's pulled up heavily. He's hit the deck, he cannot get up. They're going to run straight at the Raiders, number 13. He still managed to make that tackle on one leg, but Ryan King here, he cannot continue as it stands. He's really struggling to get back towards the 10-metre mark here. Yeah, Charlie Emsley has been told, Charlie, get that bib off, because Barrow Raiders are temporarily down to 12. Ryan King hobbles back on one leg. They are attacking non-stop towards his position. McShane now bobbles that one through. Excellently taken by Broadbent. Broadbent has got plenty of space, but the York defenders managed to come over, and Broadbent has lost that ball in the tackle. And it's things like that that pretty much sum up the Raiders' day today, Graham. Shaking his head in disbelief. Speak to us, Graham. What are you making of this so far?
He did well to get the ball back, and like say, young Broadbeck set off on a run there. Just lost control of the ball. So frustrating for it's tough to watch. I mean, this York side, they're not a bad side, but they have been given a few piggybacks this afternoon.
So York now then with an opportunity to just put this one to bed. 18 minutes to go if they haven't already. It's Raiders 12, it's York 30. Raiders have lost Tom Walker, they've lost Ryan King, and they're on course to lose this one here this afternoon. Looks to be around 5 defeats as York now. Just playing this ball around, playing comfortably, playing like a team that are finally hitting a little bit of form. Find themselves 10 metres away, out to Jordan Thompson. McShane still throwing this ball out towards this left side as Joe Brown joins the line. He's eventually taken the tackle. Ollie Field now looking around for his options. Every pass McShane makes just looks so easy, doesn't it? It's the simple things.
He's directing plays, telling his players where he wants to go.
McShane.
He got away with one there, no, he's pulled it for it. Knocked on. Thought they got lucky there myself.
So it's going to be a play the ball for the Raiders off their own 10-metre mark. 16 minutes to go until full time. 3 scores the difference. Some of the fans here in Raiders colours are leaving the stadium early. Already with a quarter of an hour to go. Paul Crary called it last week though. We are going to lose games in this division. There are far too many strong teams. Probably the strongest the Championship has looked in a long time. The ball has come loose once again in the tackle, that time by Jared Stack. No arguments from him. York collect the ball. And again, we say, you know, the sort of things that have summed up Raiders' performance this afternoon. And it's little things like that that pretty much do our job for us, Graham.
Well, there have been too many errors by the Raiders that have gifted possession in a vital area of the field. In the first half, relieving pressure for York. In the second half, gaining pressure, gaining the opportunities to get where they are now, which again is in the final third.
To York now. Metres away, right in front of the posts. Testing this Raiders goal line defence once more. That ball was bobbled around before eventually being played. Play continues with Harris. Hat-trick Harris, as they're calling him this afternoon. He's brought down.
See, Dan, what have they done there? Like, he took that ball 30 metres and took the tackle on purpose. You know what I mean? Just so they stayed up this end of the field. And they're keeping them away from their own end of the field. That's composure, you know.
Yeah, just
that's intelligent play.
Completing the sets wisely. Keeping Barrow camped right back by their own post here. Struggling to find any sort of meters downfield. As trying to shift that ball towards that left-hand side now as these tackles keep being made. Relentless defence here from the York Knights all afternoon. Getting this ball out to Bishop. Another late one out to Stack. Stack looking for that out the back ball. And there is an opportunity. They're still in position here. They've got a couple of tackles to go. Will we see that 40-20 attempt once more? Bishop wasn't ready for the pass. He's let it go backwards. Brad Walker has taken the loose ball. Bishop apologises. And just Raiders now. They're just trying to set themselves up any way they can, and they found a little bit of space in the middle with Tia. Tia's bursting through. Tia's eventually tackled 30 metres away. The Raiders centre showing a great turn of pace there. Now on the last tackle, Bishop's kicked that one over the top. It's going to be a little bit too much on that one for Bowman to get, an Ollie Field on defensive duties takes that one, and Curtis Tia pulled that one out the back there.
Do you know what? As he took that ball and started to run away from
Yeah.
If he gets through, surely.
Knock on from the Knights, 10 metres off the line. Now still 3 tries needed. They need to more than double the score they've already got, the Raiders here, with 13 minutes to go on the clock. Nothing.
Quick try here, it makes the last 10 minutes interesting.
Nothing less than a try is needed here, Graham, because time is running out, and Raiders have rarely had an opportunity like this, as Josh Wood now then from the scrum tries to turn the ball back on the inside. The ball has come loose. The ball has been collected by Johnston, who believes he's scored. He's cheering. The referee has pulled that one back. Johnston's on his own, looking around in disbelief. To knock, well, it's a scrum down, head and feet to York. It must have been Josh Wood that's lost possession there in the tackle once again. Ryan Johnston believes it went backwards, but he wants everything, doesn't he, Ryan Johnston? He's an half back end of the day. So they wanted a try needed, and a try they have not got. They've given York possession back. More and more fans now leaving the stadium here.
I think this is the strongest physical team that I've seen this year so far, including Oldham.
Yeah, they've come across some big units and some big teams. It was Hunslet, that victory against Hunslet, the newly promoted Hunslet as well at the start of the season. It's heavy favourites for that one, as Hunslet have struggled to do anything this season so far. Still with no points on the board. It was a victory for them. It was that narrow defeat away to Halifax. It was a different day, could have been a different scoreline, and here York look to extend this scoreline. It's that man again, Jordan Thompson. He's like a fridge with legs, the former Super League man, and he's taken York all the way down to within 30 metres, and now they're piling up on this left edge. It's a 4-on-3 scenario as Ollie Field breaks another 10-12 metres there. Now on the last, McShane looking around, taking it towards the line, shuffles, still manages to keep his arm free, looking for the offload, but again Graham not taking the kick, taking the tackle.
Just experience. They know they can hold them, they can hold them here.
So I've got to looking at this game this afternoon, and obviously taking nothing away from York. They've been a dominant force today, but Barrow had to do this without some key players. The big one was starting the game without Luke Cresswell, albeit Luke Broadbent's done a great job slotting in at fullback quickly. Oh, it's a massive shot there on Charlie Emsley. Might be Mother's Day, and I think he might need a hug. That was a huge one. Yeah, but losing Tom Walker early on, then losing Ryan King, and now losing the ball, want to get in the tackle. That must be the 5th, 6th, 7th time today. I don't know if we've made the start of this, Graham, but...
Like I said, I mean, a coach would say that the force there is due to the tackle technique, bodies in the tackle, sheer weight of traffic, you know what I mean? So sometimes you can do very little about it, but there have been times when it's almost an unforced error that's give possession away. And again, how many times have you seen this afternoon? The last third of the field, your possession. You know, they've defended stoutly of Barrow, but they're just running out of gas. Especially when you're running against 6'2", 17, 18 stone lads that can run 100 metres probably in about 12, 13 seconds.
Raiders all offside now then, 9 minutes to go. Raiders 12, York 30. Be interesting to see the thoughts of head coach Paul Carreri after this one, which you can listen to live on the BBC Radio Cumbria social media channels in York here. Going to go for the 2-pointer to slow things down, run down that clock. They've got no reason to look for more tries here. The game has already been won, 18 points of difference with 9 minutes to go. No way back now for the Raiders. And they're going to extend that lead to a 4-score advantage with less than 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, well, I think it's 18 points behind or something like that. So there's no need to try and put all the effort in to try and get another try. you know, and maybe get somebody injured. Just chance for the team to just regas, just get a bit of air back in the lungs, and then just take what's coming, you know, catch the ball and return it. It's the Raiders that are under all the pressure.
Another 2 points on the board then for the Knights. That man Harris once again. 8 minutes to go until half time, then it's Raiders 12. It's York 32. Back-to-back victories for York. Will move them up the table slightly, but it's Halifax that are still going to sit on top after what can only be described as a statement victory against Batley Bulldogs. 50-0. Halifax 50, Batley 0. And people were tipping Halifax to struggle this year after everything that went on in the pre-season. Sheffield 8, Oldham 12, Featherstone 18, Bradford 44. Actually updated in the Championship. Approaching full time here, Raiders 12, York 32. Raiders were looking for their first 3-game league winning streak since 2022, but it's not to be this afternoon. York have just been that one step too much for them. We've seen some mega performances against Oldham and Bradford, which will not be forgotten for a long, long time. But doing it 3 times in a row was just a little bit too much for this Raiders team, who will soon find that at this level it doesn't get any easier. Next up, Oldham away, 1895 Cup quarter final, knowing that a victory against them will take them within 80 minutes of a trip to Wembley Stadium. I bet you'll be on your way again then, won't you, Graham? To be fair, I think you might prefer to go there as a fan, would you?
Well, I've got a lot of ties with Oldham, family and that, you know, family-wise. All that, obviously, oh, by the way, it's Mother's Day, isn't it? Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers and nanas out there. Where would we be without you? That's what I say. I'll throw that in there, mate. Just remember.
True words as well, Graham. 5th and last tackle now then for the Knights, who find themselves 40 out, opting for the run down that far side. 2 forward passes. I think there was 2 of them there. The kick eventually comes in, crossfield, heading towards the post, off the post. A bit of luck there because it fell straight into the chest of Bishop. That could have been treacherous, that one. But he's done well to take that one as the English Aussie halfback. Is he born in England with an Australian accent? I'm not too sure.
He was born in Australia.
Born in Australia, is he? Oh, right.
Obviously, his dad played for Barrow, didn't he? Tommy Bishop. Back in the day.
They're your days, Graham. I'm a young pup.
Just slightly before my days. I believe he was some player.
Raiders now then with Jared Stack up towards the 30-metre mark, and this again, 5th and last tackle on Jared Stack now, holding his head, struggles to get back up to his feet, and this is another cause for concern. They've already lost some major players starting this game without Luke Cresswell, then losing Tom Walker, then Ryan King. Will they now lose Jared Stack? This is not the news the Raiders want a week before a huge game against Oldham Ruthyheads next week in the Cup quarter final. Another stoppage then with 5 minutes to go until full time. 20 points the difference between these two. Hull KR 40, Huddersfield 4 at Huddersfield as well, and Wigan 36-0 up against Salford. That's the 2 Super League games this afternoon. Full time score earlier on down south as Cornwall 6, Whitehaven 78. Jared Stack back up to his feet. Play continues. Ryan Johnson looking for that kick through. Paul McShane, like he has been all afternoon, right place, right time, takes that one off the halfway line. Tells Johnson, you ain't getting through this. No way, Jose. So now Johnston has hit the deck, holding his face. I don't know if he's playing around there. Nevertheless, he's not helping his teammates out because they're a man down. York 30 metres out. Johnston still on the floor. Now the physio comes onto the field to take a look at the Raiders half-back. Now play has eventually been stopped. Opportunity for Ryan Johnston to be treated here. He takes a sip of water as the water carriers come on now. It's been a bit of a dead rubber the last 20 minutes of this game, I think, Graham. I think ever since Raiders got themselves back into it, I think it was that try from Ben Jones-Bishop on the 52nd minute that's kind of killed any sort of momentum off, really.
Well, the body language of the York players, you know, they just shut the game down. You know, this is like, you know, when they use them, you know, doing management, you know, this is what it is. This is what it looks like. They're just keeping the ball for the 6. They're putting it into an area of the field, that 10 by 10 where they like kicks to go. They've been fortunate enough to actually just put the last tackle there and just run to there.
Play continues now then. Ryan Johnston back up to his feet, back on defensive duties as York now again trying to number up heavy on this far left edge as Holyfield desperate to get over the line and make it 4-4 against the Raiders. He's stopped just a few metres short. McShane going down the short side, the ball bobbling around, fantastically taken though on that far left hand corner as it looked to be Jude Ferreira. I won't lie, I paused so I could listen to BBC York alongside me, and Graham Dale did get it right. Yeah, Jude Ferreira goes over then. It's the cherry on the cake for this York Knights team who have just dominated.
Very professional performance. They weathered an early storm in the second half. They took advantage of what they were given in the first half. They've got some quality players that know how to run the game.
So Jude Ferreira then goes over for yet another York try. The scoreline now, it's Raiders 12, it's York 36.
I do believe there's 2 or 3 players that sit from that side as well today for York. Last year's player of the year, great statement player of the year, that's an attack, Garno. Another half-back he's got, NRL experience.
These teams that have got big money backers behind them always have these big squads to boot as well. I think
is as well, Dan, you know, like always York, slightly out of it, but close enough. A lot of Yorkshire teams out there, more needs from like Wakefield, and you know, they're going to be quality players, aren't they? I'm not saying the Raiders have quality low needs.
just going to stop you there, Graham. Jarvis Stack has had to come off for a HIA test just 2 minutes before full time, so if he fails that test underneath us, there'll be no place in the team for him next week in that quarter final against Oldham. So we'll get an update on that one as well. So it's another key player that's missing now from this lineup to add to that ever extended list. Jared Stack, Tom Walker, Ryan King, Luke Cresswell, 4 huge players, and it doesn't matter what quality and what sort of team you are. If you're missing 4 key players like that, including your captain, it's always going to be a bit of a struggle. So Raiders looking for that short kick-off. It's gone to touch, and Shane Toll, as York was trying desperately to keep that one in play, was there for the intercept. So 2 minutes to go now. Raiders looking for nothing more than some consolation as Brad Walker has got acres of space in front of him there, but he just didn't quite get his angles right. York were, I think, almost looking for the intercept. It's indicated to be back to 1 as a fresh set is given. So Ryan Brown now for the Raiders. No nonsense stuff for the forward. He takes that one through the middle. As the Raiders fans leaving the stadium, just stop around the gate to see if the home team can get over the line here. On the 10-metre mark now then, long ball out towards Bishop, who's looked to kick that one through. Can't get it through, it's bounced off the York defender's legs, and it's a bit of a one-on-one shuffle to grab that ball back. It's going to go into York's hands, and with a minute to go until full time, it's York once again in possession. And it doesn't matter what the Raiders have done this afternoon, Graham. I know at times they have been their own worst enemies with handling errors, when they've been within 20 metres of the York mark, they just can't find a way through.
What they've done is they've not spent enough time there to get a pattern going, you know, and just get a bit of composure, spend a bit of time down there.
Look, Shane now taking the tackle. Raiders looking to force him into touch. He's just laughing. He's laughing as the Raiders struggle to get him away. And going down the short side, Jesse D kicks that one through. It's going to find touch though just before Broadbent puts himself in position. 1,759 attendance this afternoon here at Craven Park, the Northern Competition Stadium, as the club like to call it these days. This afternoon, they ain't smelling no victory. Luke Broadbent is giving the sponsors player of the match. And I suppose it's that moment, Graham, on the full-time hooter. I'll come back to you shortly, because there goes the full-time hooter. It's finished with defeat here after two unbelievable performances against Oldham and then Bradford. York Knights came to town and were just a little bit too much for the Raiders to handle. It's finished Raiders 12, York 36. It's going to be the second defeat of the championship season so far for Barrow, but they just couldn't find a way through this York team, who just dominated almost from the off. Big injuries, key injuries to this Raiders team. We'll have to get an update on that to see what sort of, if any, decent team are going to have to take to Oldham next week in that cup quarter final. But a lot to work on after that defeat. After two massive historic victories, you learn more in defeat than you do in victory, and I'm sure the Raiders will take a lot away from this dominant York team this afternoon. The thoughts of Graham Dale now.
Well, that's why it's called rugby league and not cricket. The Raiders will know they won't need anyone to tell them they've made too many errors today, and they've gifted too much